covering ClassLink, which is our digital backpack that will allow students to access all the software that they're going to need. And then to start off, we have a new section tonight where over the next couple of months, we'll be featuring how to use some of the different software the students will be needing as we continue with this learning online. So it'll be broken up into 2 sections. The first section will be the new information that we haven't covered in our last couple of Zoom meetings, and then we will move into the second half, which will be a review, or it'll be new for some of you who hadn't joined us before, to use Schoology and ClassLink. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to jump right in. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Heidi Williams, and I am the technology coordinator for the A2E2 grant that we have here in DeSoto ISD. And on the call with us tonight, I have some people that will be helping answer some of the questions that you might have about technology and some of the curriculum and instruction questions you might have. Our moderator tonight is going to be Miss Gibson. She is our A2E2 grant coordinator, and she'll be making sure that we stop every once in a while and answer questions. She'll be keeping track of the chat room and monitoring the chat and making sure everyone's questions are answered in a timely manner. Melissa, if you want to just say hello to the group.
Good evening, everyone. We thank you so much for being on this call. And I think, Ms. Williams, I think our executive director is on. If she wants to say something, or if you want to introduce her.
Sure. Our executive director for the grant, her name is Miss Debbie Gibson. She plays a huge role in making sure everything runs smoothly in our grant and has helped facilitate all the information that we've needed for tonight. So if Ms. Gardner, if you're on the call, we'd welcome you to say hello. Okay, moving on. We have our Chief of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment, Ms. Chastity McKissick, with us, and she's kind of knows the ins and outs of everything, so I want her to say hello, and she'll be here to answer some questions as well.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have dropped into the chat a Spanish link, so if you are looking for the Spanish version of the similar information that we're sharing tonight, please go into the chat and you're more than welcome to click that link to join the Spanish version of this same training. Thank you.
And then our last guest for tonight is the Instructional Technology Facilitator for the district, DeSoto ISD, Ms. Karen Raddatz. I think I saw you jump on. Would you just like to say hello to the group?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well, and I'm here to also help field any questions that parents may have. So welcome.
Great, thank you. So if those of you that were needing Spanish instruction for tonight, we do have a separate Zoom tonight for that. It is in the chat. I have posted it up here on our link as well. It's also on the Anytime, Anywhere website. So if you're needing a clickable link, this is not a clickable link. It's just to show you that it's there. If you're needing to transition over, the speaker for that is Mr. Eduardo Conde, who is the A2E2 Data Communication Specialist. If you're needing help accessing this information, just go to the chat and someone will be able to help you continue. But I'm going to move forward. So just as a quick overview, our objective for all of these trainees is to ensure that our DeSoto ISD parents and caregivers have the tools needed to ensure that their students are prepared and able to participate and learn in this online environment. I know we're a few days in, and I hope you all have had a pretty successful time navigating, and you're using tonight to fill in some of those holes that you might have found yourself as you're continuing to log in every day with your student and try to get this online learning at home going. So thank you for being here. So this is in Spanish. We'll skip this, but we're looking for the class link for tonight. We're gonna do Google Drive. We're gonna be Office 360, software, and how to log in as a parent in Schoology. So first, before we get into the other parts, this is the most important part about starting your student's school day. And this is this class link website that every day when your students get up in the morning, the first thing that they want to do is go to this digital backpack. It is an online link. I'm going to show you where to find it. I have the URL here right here in front of you. You don't need to write this down. It's just more of a visual. I'm going to show you exactly where to find it on our Anytime Anywhere site and how to access it within just a couple of seconds here. But this is a link to all the software that DeSoto ISD has for your students. So as you're going through Schoology, and it might say your student is needing to do 30 minutes of iStation or 30 minutes of iExcel, that software, any software that's going to be listed for your student to use is going to be in this digital backpack, as well as the Schoology website that your students are going to need to access. Going to any of those other websites and typing in the URL is, you might be successful doing it that way, but sometimes it doesn't always work. It's not 100% success to try to log into those individual sites. The best way to access all of the software that your students are going to need is through this class link. And you want to start your day there. So let me just jump off of here and show you how you're going to access the class link. So it's a direct, if you know how to get to this Dallas ISD website, you've probably been here a million times, but it's DeSotoISD.org. And then under the quick link section, your first option is the Anytime Anywhere learning. So this is kind of the framework of all the information that you're going to need as a parent and the students are going to need to get their schoolwork done online. On this first page, you're going to see some quick links at the top. The very first quick link is this class link option. So when you start off your school day in the morning, go to the home page, click on the Anytime Anywhere link, and then right here at the top is your class link. Selecting that, it's going to take you to the login page. Every student has their own unique username and password. So find your student's username and password if they don't remember is also very simple to do. Going back to this Anytime Anywhere, we have a FAQ section. And these are just all the questions you might have about how to participate and what the district's doing in the online environment. And as you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there's a question here that says, what is my student's username and password? If you drop that down, it'll give you the hints on what that is. So your student's username and password for everything, if it ever asks for any kind of username and password when you're online and you're doing DeSoto ISD work, it's going to be their first name dot last name. And their password is the capital letter of their first name, the lowercase letter of their last name, their ID number, and an exclamation point. So if your student's name was Julia Wilson, it would be a capital J, lowercase w, their ID number, and the exclamation point. So if we jump back over to this login page, mine looks very similar to what your student's is. It's my first name dot last name, my ID number, my first and last initial, ID number, exclamation point, and click sign in. So now you are logged into all the software that the district has to offer. You don't have to do the login anymore. The first place, this is where you're always going to start. The second thing that you're going to want to do is look for the software that you're going to need. So the one that stands out the most that you're going to use, and we'll get into that later, is the Schoology. You don't have to go to any other page to access anything else that the district might have to offer. You're going to start right here for everything. Okay, so let me just pause real quick for a question. Does anyone have any questions about this class link or had any issues trying to use it the last couple of days?
Hi, Heidi. This is Jason. Now, I've been able to get to this point, but I don't know if you're going to cover it later on. But like once I get into this, get to my son's classes or what have you, once I click on, like if his teacher wants to give us an assignment, when I click on that, the link to do the assignment, it tells me that I have to get access from, I guess, the host of that particular assignment. And so I was talking to one of his teachers today, and she asked me, did I go through this proper channel, like you were saying? Did I go through the class link, then the Schoology? And I was able to see the digital backpack and all that, but for some reason, he's not getting access to the actual homework assignments. And maybe you'll cover that later, or we can talk offline.
Well, you're sure you're putting in his information and not your information as the parent?
Yeah, I put in his information. Yeah, his information, not mine.
Okay. Yeah,
I know that.
Miss Ross, would you have any suggestion of why the student wouldn't see anything in Schoology or doesn't have access yet?
No, yeah, he can see his classrooms. He can see his class, and he can actually, click on and get into the Zoom. But like he had 2 assignments that they wanted to give him. And I know there were a couple of other students that were having the same issue where it was saying that they need to get access from the host, and they were trying to figure out. So I don't know if it was a technical thing or not.
Oh, I'm wondering.
Yeah, well, did you want me to answer? Yes. You can go ahead, Heidi. Okay. I was going to say, it depends on whoever created that link, which, like you said, the host. The teacher would need to make sure that when she creates the link, it's accessible for those students in Schoology.
Okay. And Ms. Ross, now the 2 teachers I talked to, they did tell me that they're showing that everyone had access. Now, there could still be a disconnect, but, we can take it offline or what have you. But I didn't, I just want to.
Yeah, that's fine. And we can always get with whoever that particular teacher is and have her troubleshoot. She can actually log in as a student to see if students are able to access what they're assigning as far as it relates to the different links.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ms. Williams.
Yes, no problem.
Hey, Ms. Williams, you do have a couple of questions in the chat. There is one from Tiffany Franklin. One will receive the sign-up codes for class tag. And I'm going to defer that one to Chief McKissick. Are you, Tiffany Franklin, are you talking about access codes or?
Yes, ma'am, I am. For class tag, it doesn't, it's asking for as a parent, that there's a sign-up code that the teacher is supposed to give us.
Okay, Chief McKissick?
Yes, good afternoon. So yes, the parent Schoology access codes, if you haven't received them, you should be receiving them this week. What we have discovered, and I apologize on the onset, as we are learning more about Schoology and its capabilities, we had to ensure that the gradebook was open first prior to us being able to issue those parent access codes. So now that we are officially 3 days into school, the homeroom teachers or the advisory teacher will be sending an email, personal email to each homeroom parent, to give you your parent access code. Once you have one access code for your child, then you will be able to see all of their coursework for every course that they're enrolled in. So you would only need, again, one access code for each student you have enrolled in our system. And then that access code will be able to allow you to see all of their student work. So if you have not received that yet, I promise you it's coming. I just sent another reflection and recap to our campus administrators and our teachers just today to reiterate the information that we need to push out to you as parents. And definitely one of those were the parent access codes. So again, if you haven't received it, you should be receiving that very soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Then we have another question from Gretchen Coling. It says, how do we create a Schoology account? I'm assuming you're asking as a parent, and where is this information found? So Ms. Williams?
We're going to get to that, I'd say, in about 15 minutes or so.
And I believe some of the other questions that are in here are going to be answered coming up. So I'm going to hold off on asking those until you get a little bit further along.
Okay, perfect. So once you access this class link, I want to highlight 2 different pieces of software that the students have available to them that will help them complete some of the assignments that their teachers might be requiring of them. And this is really spurred from a question that we got last week, and it was, how does the district offer discounts to the Microsoft Office platform? So if they needed to do Word, PowerPoint, Excel, did we offer a discount that they could buy so they could do the work? And we can do one better than offering you a discount. We already have all of that in this digital backpack for your students to participate. So there's 2 options for them. So we have Google Drive, and lots of people are familiar with Google Drive and the programs that are available. They have the Google Docs, they have the Google Slides, the Google Sheets. And then if you're needing to save your work, it all goes in this drive. So let me switch back over to the class link. And if you will follow me here, you're going to look for, it's all in alphabetical order. So if you see here on this left side, and just depending on the size of your screen, it kind of scrunches. So just remember that it's in alphabetical order. So if you click on Google, it'll give you the options that your student has. And you have your Google Docs, that's like Microsoft Word. You have your Google Sheets, which works like Excel, and you have your Google Slides, which works like PowerPoint. So if your student was to open up a Google Doc and you just started with a blank, but if you notice here, it'll give you a history, everything that you've done. So if you click on the blank one, they can type their poem in, and they can name it something that they remember. And then it's gonna automatically save it to their drive. They don't have to do like a file or save or anything. It just automatically updates every couple of seconds. So if I was to go back to my apps here, and I was to go to the Google Drive, you will see that what I just did. Here is the test doc 910, and if I was to double click on it, it would access that information, and it saved it for you, and you can pick it up where you need to go later. Now, if your teacher is asking them to share it with them, you have 2 different options of how you can share this document with the teacher. They might want you to download it and upload it to their Schoology page. So if you needed to download a document off of the internet and upload it back to Schoology, you just need to do a file and go to download and decide how you want to have it saved. A PDF might be the best way, because once you download a PDF, it doesn't change the formatting or anything. It is what it is, and then it would upload it and you don't have to worry about it looking different. But the other option is you could download it as a Word document, and it will save to your desktop. And then when we get to Schoology, I can show you how you upload that later. Okay?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I got a question. Do the student need to log in for this file, for the Google Drive?
No, sir. So this is a single user sign-in, this class link. Once they go to the anytime, anywhere site, and you remember before where it asked the username and the password?
Yes.
Everything on this slide here, this page, is already signed into. So it's a single sign-in, and now they have access to everything.
Okay,
if
this
I may
is
jump in really quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Let me
yeah,
finish.
This is my question because we sign in to the class link, and then I wanted to do a report, a homework, and when I opened the homework file, he asked me to sign in Google Drive.
Yes. Okay. So if I may jump in really quick. So if your student is having trouble accessing a document because it's asking them to log in with a Google email address. So the same way that your student log into ClassLink, that is the first portion of their email address. The last part is at DeSotoISD.net. I'm putting all of this information in the chat. So all of our students ultimately do have a district provided email address. And again, it is the first part of how they would log into ClassLink, and Ms. Williams has it listed here on the screen for email. So in most cases, it is the student's first name, period, last name at DeSotoISD.net. And then the password would be capital, first letter of the first name, lowercase, last name, ID number, and exclamation mark. That will give them access to edit Google documents or any other document that a teacher is asking them to write on or submit. So again, our students do have access to a district provided email address, and that is through Outlook. They will use their first name dot last name at DeSotoISD.net. And in some cases where our students where we have multiple students in our system with the same name, some students have unique usernames such as first name dot middle initial dot last name. So however they get into ClassLink, just simply add at DeSotoISD.net to give them access to their email.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Google, if you're more familiar with how to use the Google Drive and the Google Documents, that's available. The district has switched over to the Office products. So we have Office 365, and we have a direct link to their email as well here. So if you were to click on the Office suite, it really works the same way. You get this message here. You can put your username and password if you want to. I just choose to skip, and it still works. And now you see you have an online version of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then just like the Google Drive where you're saving your work, it saves it to the OneDrive. So if I just click on a Word document, I'll do the same thing. I would hit blank. And I can just say test document. I might name it something. And then you don't have to do any kind of saving. You'll see the name change up here. And if I go back to my apps here, I can go to the OneDrive, and you'll see the document that I was working on saved in my drive. It's all virtual. So if you're using their laptop computer one day, and then they have to switch and use their brothers or sisters, or they're at their grandma's house and they're using their grandma's computer, all of this information follows them as they log on at the different locations. Now, if your student is needing some type of assistance with how to use Word, PowerPoint, Excel, there is a great resource out there. It's called gfclearnfree.org, and they have tutorials on how to use Microsoft Office. They have tutorials on how to use the Google apps. Let me click on this so I can go directly to it. So here is how to use Word, and there's tutorials that you can go through as a parent or as a student. Excel, PowerPoint, more advanced versions here. And it would be the same for the Google apps. And just as a side note, let me go back here, if it'll let me. They have other topics as well. So they have math topics. They have writing assistance as well for students. So just if you were interested as a parent to kind of go out and explore what they have, PDF learning for you to find. I think we have a question.
So the question, I actually have a list. So
Okay.
are you at the stopping point?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. So we're going to go back to Shanda. And I want to stress to parents, we first of all, thank you so much for being on this call, and we want to provide you with the most valuable information that we can. We want to make sure you understand that this specific call is for training over Schoology, class links, and some of the Microsoft Office suite things, and a few technology items. Any other questions that are specific to your child's schedule, we're going to ask that you defer that to your actual campus. This one is just a general training to help you understand how to work the systems that DeSoto has for all of our students. So we're going to go back to Gretchen. I believe you had a question. Could you unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question?
Hi there. Actually, I've asked several questions. I'm not sure which question we can ask at this point in time.
If it's in relation to Schoology or Zoom or the Microsoft Office suites or class links, do you have a question about one of those things?
Yes, you covered the fact that we don't have the account code to get in. We'll get that later. Can you answer about the email? My son has used the Gmail to contact his teachers, and apparently that same email is also available in Outlook, and his emails are not making it to the teachers.
Okay.
Okay, so for that one, I would suggest submitting a ticket to helpdesk@DeSotoISD.org. That seems like there may be a glitch with our technology in that specific email. So again, I would highly suggest emailing helpdesk@DeSotoISD.org so that technology can troubleshoot that issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dallas Moore, you had a question. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Yeah, it wasn't really a question so much as just a response. There was another gentleman who had asked about something about being denied, access denied to, some documents whenever they clicked on them. We were having a similar issue also with our kids every time we'd be in ClassLink, logged in obviously as the student. And then we'd click on or tried to click on certain items. We'd get this pop-up that said access denied. But it took us a while and some back and forth with the teachers for them to say, well, you can't be logged into your account. And I didn't understand what they meant, but it seemed like if I was logged in to, let's say, Google Chrome under my account, it would not ever let me open the document that we tried to click on from ClassLink or Schoology, from their class material. I had to go into Chrome and then add my children's, because I have two of them in elementary. So I had to add them to, I guess, the Chrome account somehow using their DeSoto ISD email address and login information. Once I was able to do that, then when we started clicking on links, the documents magically started allowing us to look at them. So I didn't really have a question, but I was just basically kind of responding in the chat that's kind of what helped us start being able to view the documents. Is we had to log in as our children onto Google Chrome itself, because that's the browser we're using. And once we were able to do that, then we weren't getting the access denied messages anymore.
Okay. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for sharing that information. We appreciate that.
No problem.
And now that our parent has kind of confirmed what they did, I can show the rest of the group how to make that work. So that's awesome. So what he did was, I just opened up a new browser, and you'll see over here on the right side, it'll show you who you're logged in as. And when your student is trying to click on one of the assignments the teacher has, the browser is reading that it's logged in as Heidi Williams at DeSoto ISD. So if you click on that and it says your name and gmail.com, it's not gonna let your student in. Or so if you needed to add other accounts, switch your browser so it's reading their DeSoto ISD account, you would just go here and click add another account. Put in your student's email address, so their first dot last name at DeSotoISD.net. Hit next, put in the password, then you'll be able to switch between the different accounts fairly quickly. So if I wanted to go to my private account, I would just click on this, and now it's reading, the browser is reading as my other account. So if your student just was defined, add them in there, and then you can click quickly to change who has access to that information. So thank you for that. That was good information.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, and thank you again, Mr. Moore. 2 of the questions have been answered by our instructional technology coordinator, Ms. Ross, so I'm not going to call those. I do have one more from Angela Eja. I hope I'm saying that right. Could you unmute yourself and ask your question? Angela, are you there? Okay. Okay. The other 2 that I was going to call on, like I said, Ms. Ross has answered those questions, or either, and Ms. McKissick just answered another question. So we're going to go ahead and move on, and I have 3 other names that I'll call at a later time.
Okay, perfect. So moving on quickly, your students will be doing online classrooms with their teacher the first 15 to 30 minutes of each class period. So I know you all know how to use Zoom because you're on it right now, but I wanted to just provide you with this link and show you that if you were to switch, if you needed your student to get on Zoom and you're needing to use your cell phone or a different digital device, and you haven't used Zoom yet, you just need to ensure that the browser has the right software. So if you were to go to zoom.us.download, it'll give you the software that you would need to make it work on different devices if you haven't already downloaded those. So this first one here is the download software for like desktop and laptop computers. And then if you scroll down a little further, these are going to be your mobile apps for your iPads and your cell phones and your any other mobile devices. You just go to the App Store or the Play Store and download those there. So all of this information is in the Anytime Anywhere site. You don't have to write any of these URLs down, but just so you know, it's Zoom at us.download. Once you have the software download, you know that you just click on the URL that the teacher has provided. And the first thing that you're going to see happen is it's going to give you the option to join with computer audio. You want to make sure that your students understand they don't want to close this. They want to click and join with their computer audio every time. This is going to ensure that they're going to be able to verbally communicate. Switching over this, the audio doesn't always connect, and then they'll be trying to talk and no one will be able to hear them. So just let them know, practice a few times with them that they need to join with their audio. And then you're in your Zoom classroom. There's some controls that your students are going to need to know how to use. And if you notice at the bottom of your screen, you see a black toolbar, and you'll see the mute and the stop.
Yes.
And a few other things.
What do I do with the house?
So practice with them, especially our younger kiddos, that if they're needing to verbally communicate with their teacher, that they know to just push that mute button.
Take care of the family.
No. That's how they know that they're able to be heard. And then if you see a red cross through it, they know that they are muted. And anytime they turn on their microphone, they want to be aware to turn off their microphone. just because it provides, if you leave it on, you'll provide a lot of feedback of, you know, people doing different things while they're paying attention to the class. The second option is stop video. Stop or play video. Just by clicking on it, it changes the option. Now, the district encourages that your student shows their face during class. It is not a requirement that they do show their face, but it just helps that for engagement purposes, if they are able to see the student, we'll know that they are engaged and participating. Now, one of the things that we've heard from our parents is if my student is on, you know, there's all this stuff going on in the background, and if they're like my niece and nephew and they're in their room and their room's a mess, we don't want everybody all up in our business. So one of the things that you can do to block out what's going on in the background is to add in a virtual background. So if you're interested in having and showing their face, but wanted to add in a background to black out the back, you would click on that little up arrow next to the video, and then you'll see the option that says choose virtual background. When you click on that, it'll take you to a setting.
Oh, no, picture number 1 is Barack Obama.
And this is, apologize for the picture of me, but I was just trying to do a screenshot quickly to show you what was, how it works. But there has a few backgrounds that are preset. You click on that. Or if you have a plus sign, if you have a picture of something else that you wanted to add in there, download it off the internet, or it could be a picture of your child in its place. You could hit this plus sign, upload that, click on it, and then when you close out of the settings, that would be what's in the background instead of like my kitchen behind me. Now, if your student is using a virtual background, make sure that it is school appropriate. All of those things that apply at school as far as what can and can't be like on a t-shirt or that kind of thing still apply online. And then if they are showing a video of themselves, dress code is also actually enforced as well. So just make sure they are dressed for school and their backgrounds are appropriate. Moving to the center section, the 3 icons that they need to know about. First one is the participants. If you were to click on that participant icon, you'll see a white bar that comes down the side of the page, and it'll show you all the names that is in the Zoom room. What you want to do is ensure that it is your students' names that's showing. So if you're like on an iPhone, and when you log in, 9 times out of 10, we're going to see the name iPhone as the participant. Now, teachers take attendance by whose names they see in this participant list. So if they are not able to identify who the student is, that could affect their attendance for the day. So just to alleviate any question about who was there, who wasn't there, I would ensure that the name that's showing is your student's name. So when you click on, sorry, my mouse is very sensitive. When you click on participants and you see the name that represents the device or whoever owns it, if you go over to the side and click on more and hit rename, then you're able to add in your student's information. The next one is the chat. So these are one of the 2 ways that you're going to be able to non-verbally communicate with the teacher. So they might ask your students to answer a question using the chat. So when you click on chat, another white box will appear on the right side, and down at the very bottom, it'll say type your message. And they would type that message in and send it off to the teacher. Now, depending on how the teacher set up their Zoom room, more people can view it than just the teacher. So if you were curious on who is seeing what's being written, you could click on those 3 little dots and it'll give you a list of who's viewing what was said. So host only is probably what each teacher is going to do. That just means that the student is only communicating with the teacher. Depending on the age and what the teacher wants to have done that day, they can be communicating with everyone in a public setting, or it can be public or sending private messages amongst each student. Now, let me caution you, and I might relay this to my students as well. This word privately does not mean that it is private. What is written in a chat on every Zoom is the teacher or the host, if you call them a host, will get a printout of what was being said. So I will have my student understand that even though it says it's private and only supposedly one student to the next student can see it, once the Zoom is over, the teacher can see all the chats that have happened there. Okay. And then the last are another nonverbal reactions. The teacher might say, give me a thumbs up if you understand the instructions. So if you're not on camera, you can't give a thumbs up. You have the thumbs up option, or if they wanted to agree with something that the teacher or another student said, they could use the clapping to just verbally participate and help things continue to roll on. Okay, so those are major things that your students will need to know for Zoom. The next section is going to be the meat of it as far as Schoology and how to access information as a parent. So do we have any questions before I move on about Zoom?
Yes, Ms. Williams. There's two questions. One from Tiffany Franklin. She says, can the background be done before the meeting? Ms. Franklin, could you unmute yourself and kind of explain that question so we can get it answered for you?
In the Zoom, can the background be done before the Zoom meeting starts or during the Zoom meeting?
It can be done during the Zoom meeting the first time, and then I believe once you set it, it will stay that way every time. But I'm not 100% sure that's the case when you're just clicking on the links without having an account. You might have to do it every time, but I think after you set it the first time, it should hold every time you log in again.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, and then Ms. Williams, we need to go over how to rename the name and then also how to change the background, just those two things, how to rename the name and how to change the virtual background.
Okay, so depending on what type of device you have, it might look a little different, but if you just kind of shake your mouse or touch your screen, if you're on a cell phone or an iPad, you should see a bar show up somewhere that's and it has participants on it. Clicking on that, you will see a white box that appears at the bottom or along the side, and it should show whatever your name is, or say iPhone at the very top of it. That indicates you. So when you select you and you go over to the more, you click rename, and then it should allow you to type in your first and last name or your student's first and last name. The background is also on that same toolbar for video. There's a little caret, this is what it's called, an up caret, that you would click on, not on the video, that just turns it on and off. Click on the up caret, choose virtual background, and then under settings, they have some preset ones. You might have seen these if you were on other Zooms. And then if you wanted to upload one from your desktop, you could click on this plus sign and then find where you have that picture saved. You'll upload it, you'll see it appear down here on the second line, and you will just double click on it, and then it should, and close out of it, and it should appear.
Okay, thank you. And then there are a couple of other people, but I see Mrs. McKissick as well as Mrs. Ross. They've answered those questions. So I am gonna go ahead and skip over those. We do have one from Gretchen Cowling, and I'm gonna ask Chief McKissick or Mrs. Ross if you could answer that in the chat, if you don't mind, or do you want to answer it here?
If it's for them, it's probably easier for them to answer it.
Okay, I'll read it just in, it says,
okay, yeah, read it for me. I don't know which one you're referring to.
Yeah, I'll read it. It says, is there a group chat function on Schoology without being prompted by post from the teacher or our students, or are our students allowed to make a student created Zoom meeting for group projects?
Okay, so no, students do not have the capability to create their own Zoom or own groups within Schoology. They do not have that access. However, a teacher can place a student in a group that's separate from a course. So for example, as A2E2 will create groups for their students to be in to be in enrichment courses. But again, that's something that's generated on our end, not from the student's end. So no, they cannot send messages to one another in Schoology. No, they cannot create separate groups and Zoom meetings by themselves without a teacher prompting that to happen.
Thank you, Chief McKissick. Then I'm gonna ask this last question. It says, is there it's moving pretty quickly. This is from Riley Dowdy. It says, is there any difference in information on my child's login and the parent's login as far as looking up homework and communication to the teacher?
So that's Schoology, I'm assuming. We're gonna get to that next. So we'll be able to answer that question pretty quick.
Okay, all right, well, we'll go ahead and resume the session. The other names, I am writing those down. So I do have Lavette Dudley, I have you, as well as Riley Dowdy. So thank you, Ms. Williams.
Okay, so Schoology, access and controls. As a parent, you have the option to log in and create your own Schoology account where you will be able to see exactly what your students are doing. You'll be able to monitor what work they're turning in, what work is late, what grades they're getting, and their attendance. So just as a reminder, your students, when they go to Schoology, they need to go to the class link. And they're gonna log into ClassLink and go to Schoology from this page. Now, you as a parent, we don't have Schoology accounts for you. So you're gonna have to go directly to Schoology.com. and sign up. So if you have not been on a Schoology account before, the first thing that you need to do is click sign up. And so let's say that you are a parent. Now, this was a question that we had earlier about the access code. You will need an access code provided by one of your students' teachers. If your student has 6 classes, you're gonna get 6 access codes, but you only need 1 to create an account for yourself. So whatever teacher gets it to you first, use that one, and then you don't have to worry about the rest that come in maybe the same day or the next day. So it's usually an 8 letter code that will come. So I'm gonna switch back out because I don't have a code. But once you've signed up, you're going to click login. And then you type in the email address that you created with, after the access code, it'll ask you to create a username and a password and set up an email account. All of those steps you'll follow. And then when you sign in, make sure you put in the email address that you gave Schoology when you created the account and the password. And then you'll just log in. And the first thing that you're gonna see is probably a blank page. To be able to see what your students are doing, you're going to find your name up here in the top right-hand corner. So this is just a fake account that I have created for demo purposes. But I have, the access code that I put in was for my play son, Kenneth Miller. So if you have more than one child that you're needing to get information on, once you've created the login account for the first child, all you need to do is click Add Child, use the access code that the teacher gave you for that child, and then more children's names will populate on this dropdown. So I'm just gonna click on my child, Ken, and you're gonna see here on the left side all the announcements that the teachers in all of his classes have been posting since the first day of school, basically. And you could scroll down to keep track of what was being said. Now over here on this right side, you have assignments that have been graded. So there's no assignments for this student. But if there was one, it would show you what they were and it will show you the grade. If you clicked on tests and quizzes, if any grades were there, any discussions that your student participated in, and then attendance. All of this is right here. Any assignments that are overdue, it's right here on this front page, and the day it was due. If it's a blue link, you could click right on there and see what it was, what the assignment was. This was a quiz, so you wouldn't be able to view the quiz, but you could click and find out what they were missing and what they still need to do. Scrolling down a little further, it'll tell you what assignments they have upcoming, so you can keep track of what they haven't done and what's coming up in the next couple of days. Now, this is just a quick overview of everything that all the teachers have been posting. If you want to drill down and see what your student sees, and that was the question that we had just a moment ago, you're going to click on courses, and you're going to see all the courses that your student has been assigned to them. This is each class or each teacher. When you click on the class, now you're going to see what they see. How it should be broken up is there should be some type of announcement here if the teacher has made an announcement for the day. You're going to see folders for the week of September 14th through the 18th, the week of September 21st through the 25th, and it'll just go on and on and on. Click on the week that we are currently in, and then you should see a quick guide. It tells you it's a checklist of all the information that your student is going to need to do that week. Give it a moment to load. Here we go. So this, again, this is just a generic one. It kind of is going to vary by the teacher, but you should see the days of the week that your teacher will be available for virtual office hours. It gives you the teacher's email address, the school, the grade, again, what week this is for. And then as you scroll down, the first thing you'll see here is the software that your student will be using for the week. So it says iStation Reading 30 minutes per week, iStation Math 30 minutes. If you continue to go down, there should be some links in here to iStation or iStation Reading. If the teacher doesn't provide those, you know that you can go back to ClassLink and you will find iStation, click on that, and then they would do the 30 minutes of reading or the 30 minutes of math based off of what the teacher has asked them to do in this first section here. And then scrolling down further, the columns are broken up by the different days. So for September 14th, the first thing that they would do is click on this link, how to write a research paper, watch this YouTube video. For 30 minutes, 8:30, they would log into their Zoom classroom. So this is the Zoom link that they would use to participate with their teacher from 8:30. Now let's say you are not able to participate in this Zoom at 8:30. It is not a requirement that they do. It's encouraged that your student kind of sets up a normal school day where they're participating in an organized time, but we know that that's not always the case. So teachers should be recording these Zoom sessions and then posting the recording so your student can watch it later. Say they're not able to get to a computer till 4 o'clock. They can watch the recorded version whenever they find time to participate. It'll tell them that they need to read pages 192 to 193. This would be a link that would take them to the textbook. But say the teacher doesn't provide them the textbook link. Again, if you go to ClassLink, you have your textbooks. Where's your textbook? McGraw-Hill. So if it was math class, you would find the math book and go to whatever page it was that the teacher was asking for. And on and on and on. And then the exit ticket would be whatever assignment they were needing to post. This is what the students see, you have the same view as the students do. This is just the quick link for everything that needs to be done. The teacher should also break it up in the different days, and there would be links in here as well for them to participate. And then if you wanted to switch to a different course, you click on courses again, and then you can go in and view a different teacher's classroom. These grades here are for that specific course. So if there was any grades here, you could click on grades, and then it would break it down into homework, quizzes. I think that's the two. Tests and quizzes and homework would be the two different types of grading. You could see the attendance that this teacher specifically gave that student. And then there are some links here on the side as well. So there's the textbook as well. Going back. To my home screen. Remember, this is the global view of all the graded assignments that every teacher has given, attendance for every overdue and upcoming. Now, if you want to drill down, you got to go into the courses. Let me pause there for a question, and there's a few more things that I want to get to show you tonight.
We do have 3 raised hands, Ms. Williams. I'm going to start with Robin. If you can unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Hi, my raised hand was already up there. I think you guys may have to get me at the end of the presentation. I'm just having a problem getting into ClassLink. So you can get me at the end, please.
Okay,
thank you.
I have Lillian Johnson. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, good afternoon. I was just calling about passcodes reset for everything. I don't know if you covered it from Schoology to iStation.
You're needing it reset, or you're not sure if it's correct?
I need a reset. One has my student for iStation. I submitted to the teacher and I submitted to Mr. Whitaker. I'm not sure if that's the right person, but I submitted to both to have it because it automatically logs him into the parent portal for iStation. And for IXL, he's logged in, but once he click a link to do something, to do work, it automatically clicks him out to the sign-in screen, so he's not able to do any work in that. So I asked for those two to be reset. They haven't as of yet, so I'm not sure how we can quickly get it done so he can do the work, because he's not the person. I mean, if he falls behind, it's going to take us a long time for him to catch up.
Ms. Ross, are you in the call? Is there a different person that they would contact if they're having login issues through ClassLink, or would they directly, do they need to reach out directly to the principal?
First, I would probably reach out directly to the principal or the IC at the campus, because it could just be an error with the students' login information. Also, with iStation, the students shouldn't be doing any work right now with iStation. We just recently uploaded rosters for iStation. iStation is not single sign-on, so students have to have a specific username and password for that particular app. As far as ClassLink, that's why I said check with the campus administration or the teacher to make sure you have the correct username and password, because ClassLink is synced directly to our team system. And so it could be an error with the student's name, like Ms. McKissick spoke of earlier. So we may not be pulling that information over correct from Teams. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, we're going to go to the next 2 questions. We're going to do Aisha, and then we'll have Portia Bookman. So Aisha, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
So I guess my question is, everything that we're looking at is up under the student Schoology account. So I guess I'm confused on why, like, none of the graded assignments or past due assignments, is any of that going to appear under the parents account, or we just literally have to go through the student's account to see all of that?
What we're looking here is the parent account.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So what I'm showing you here is a parent account. What we're looking at is, once you're in as a parent, you would have to select what student's information you want to see.
Right.
Attendance, you will see graded assignments. Are you saying you haven't seen anything like that?
No, because so I can, when I log in, I can go under to my child's account and I can see all of his stuff. But I was wondering why, if there was any like late assignments or graded assignments, is anything going to come under my specific account instead of me going through his? So do I have to click on mine to view anything, or do I have to stay under his?
You'll need to stay under each child. So if you only have one child, you would just click on that one and it'll show you the late work and what's upcoming.
Okay, I guess I'm confused because it looks like it's the same thing as if we're just logging in separately under our kids' account by themselves. So it looks the same to me. That's why I was asking, what was the purpose of the Schoology account for the parent? They pretty much look like it's the same thing as if the student's logging in on their own.
It does look very similar, but one of the things that you can do here is under settings. As a you can create notifications. So instead of having to log in, you can get a summary of what your student has been doing, turning in attendance. I believe attendance is on there. Do you want it to come weekly or daily? At what time? So if it's weekly, you can have it set on a Friday. You can set it on a Sunday, a Monday, and then you can get a notification if there was an item that was supposed to be due and they didn't turn it in. Whatever email address you signed up for, as soon as that becomes past due, it will send you a notice. Those kinds of functions are not available just under your students' information.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and now we have, oh, did she lower her hand? Let me make sure she didn't lower her hand. We did Portia Bookman. I think that's it then. Did anyone else have a question that they wanted to ask?
Yes, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I have a child that right now is having trouble to download the assignments.
So is it giving you the error message that the information can be accessed?
Yeah, she don't have access to get down the assignments. When she wants to open the folder, it shows that there's something wrong with the connection or whatever, or having problems with download the file.
Okay, so this is what I want you to check on. When you just open up a Google browser, I'm assuming you're using Google to log in, right?
Right.
So over on the right-hand corner, it'll tell you what account you're connected to. So if it doesn't have if it just has your name in there or like a regular Gmail account, that could cause issues with your student being able to access documents their teacher has uploaded to their Google account. So what you'd have to do is add your student add your student's account to this browser. So you would click on add another student and you would put in their email address. Their email address, let me go back up here, is their first name dot last name. And then their password is
Ms. Williams, unmute yourself. I muted everybody, so you're gonna have to unmute yourself. I'm sorry.
I got you. So add your student into your Google browser, and then when they get on in the morning, especially if it's an older student, just train them to go in and change accounts so it's logged in as them, and they should be able to download that work without any problems.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Williams. Did anyone else have a question? If not, we're gonna go ahead and go on to the rest
I have a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Would that be the same as Schoology if the teacher wants you to, say for instance, my kid do their work at home on paper. So if I'm trying to send it to the teacher through Schoology, how do I do that? Because the teacher be wanting us to do paperwork at home and she want to send it through Schoology or either class link, I believe. But I was trying to see, how do I access that? Like, instead of just writing it on there as they do the paperwork at home. So how is I'm supposed to send it through Schoology like that, or download it to Schoology to send to the teacher?
Okay, so I was looking to see if I had an assignment that required an upload. So what you would need to do is whatever the assignment was that was given to you that day. Do you know how to get to that section that told you what to do?
Yes.
On the right side, there should be somewhere that says submit. And then there should be a link that you can click on to upload that information.
Okay.
We would, you know how to use Google Docs or, Microsoft Office, right?
Right.
You would download it to your computer, your desktop. And then when you're in Schoology, and I've got so many things open, you would click on that upload button and then find where you have it saved on your computer and then hit submit.
Okay.
I have a question. So since you told her to do the Word doc or something like that, can we just, since it's logged into Google on his name, can we is that like the same as like taking a pic? Like if the teacher say draw circles, take a picture of the circles and send it to his Google account and then download it, and then go to Schoology and download it from there to upload? Does that make sense?
It does. If that flow works for you, yes, you could do it that way. Because you're going to be using your phone, right? So
yeah, like take a picture of the circles, send it to the Google account on Google, whatever his Google, the DeSoto Google account, and then we have to go to Schoology, and when it says like over there on the side where it says submission, and then you click upload, will it let us upload that picture that we sent to his account?
Yeah, it'll let you upload pictures.
Okay. That was it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We're going to answer one more question, and it's from Riley Dowdy. Your question is, will you answer questions about Seesaw and Seesaw Family and Seesaw Classroom? So for this particular training, we're only going to be able to answer questions about Schoology, class links, and Zoom and Microsoft Office. For that particular question, we're going to ask that you defer that to your specific teacher because they create those accounts specific for their classrooms. Ms. Ross just said the same thing. So
yes, thank you, Ms. Gibson. But I'm good. That was a great question because we are receiving that question district-wide. So yes, you would definitely need to reach out to those individual campuses and those teachers to really get clarity on how they want you guys to integrate Seesaw.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let Ms. Williams continue on, and then we'll take the final questions at the end. The only person I have right now still on my list that we have not answered is going to be Robin. Outside of that, I think we've gotten just about everybody, if not all of those questions. I do have a raised hand from Twyla Robinson, and I'll get to your question at the end with Robin's. So Ms. Williams, you may go ahead and proceed.
Okay, so I have one more thing I want to show you here in Schoology, and then we've got a few procedural things that I want to show you back on my PowerPoint, and then we'll be done. So under settings in Schoology, if you have students that go to school in a different district and also have Schoology accounts that they are participating in different schools, not in DeSoto ISD, but outside of DeSoto ISD, you can link all of those student accounts into one parent portal, as you would say. So to link outside district accounts that are from Schoology, you would go into settings and click link accounts. And then you would make sure that you link with the username and password that you had for the other account in the other school and click link. And then you'll be able to see all the students that are associated to you, not just in DeSoto, but outside of DeSoto. If you just have DeSoto children, you would use the add a child up here on the right. If you have students outside of DeSoto, you would need to go in and link that account. Okay, so moving back over to my PowerPoint. How does your student get counted present for a school day? There are one of four things that they need to do. Complete an assignment in Schoology by 11:59 that day. So no matter what time they start school, they didn't do any of the Zoom classes for the day, as long as they did the assignment that was given to them and turned it in before midnight, they are marked present for the school day. Submitting an assignment through another means. So if the teacher said to email it to them or to upload it to the Google Drive or to their OneDrive, whatever the teacher asked the student to do, if they complete that task, they'll be marked present for the day. Having a one-on-one meeting with the teacher. In some instances, the teacher might have a one-on session with the student where they're just needing to do what they call an SEL, just kind of touch base with the kids. Or they participate in a Zoom session for the day. Doing any of those four things will allow them to be marked present. Now, not all students are going to have access to technology. And in those rare instances where a student does not have a technology device or access to one, we provide them with books and paper pencil assignments. So they would need to take a picture of that assignment and send it to their teacher, or the teacher would be calling the student and doing daily check-ins to be marked present. So here's are just some of the ways that you might see your student being marked present. Probably just in Parent Portal. I'm not sure if Schoology will show you these, but if you see any of these codes, that means that they are marked present. And then, I think that's it. Oh, yes, here, this is the one thing I wanted to highlight. If your student has been marked as an absent for the day, the same rules apply as if they were in the regular school day. You would need to provide the school with some type of documentation as to why they were absent. So if they were at a doctor's appointment and they were sick, or they had, went to the dentist, or whatever the excused absences are, you would want to make sure that the school received that information for the absent to be changed to excused. And they have 5 days, the teacher has 5 days to make those corrections once it's in the attendance. Once we go back to campus supervised options, attendance will be taken at 10 p.m. So if you're dropping your students off, for them to be marked present for the day, they would need to be there and participating at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Can you go back to the previous slide that had the codes real quick, the attendance codes? Okay, Ms. Gentavian Jackson, does that answer your question? Is that what you were asking? It's just.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I have them.
Okay, awesome. Okay, my apologies, Ms. Williams. I just wanted to go back to that one real quick.
Okay, so everything that you have received here tonight, I know it's a lot, will be on this Anytime, Anywhere site. So if you were to go to Anytime, Anywhere, and you go to technology training, and then the upcoming training dates, first thing you will see is the PowerPoint that I used tonight. So if you're needing clickable links for, say, like the trainings for Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Google Docs, you can find those clickable links there. Here are the videos from our last trainings that we've done in the PowerPoints. Once we download tonight's video, you'll find it here under live training dates. Under the Schoology section, we are still creating these videos that are going to look very similar to what we did tonight. They're just short reference videos, but those will be coming. And then there are step-by-step instructions. Whoops, I didn't mean to click that so fast. On how to create an account, how to log in as a parent, how to navigate, how to do the notifications. You just click on it. And the cool thing is it gives you the step-by-step on how to get that done. How to add your child, put the code in, create your username and password. It's all there at your fingertips and accessible. You just need to remember how to find it. So I'm open for questions. If you're needing me to review anything, the rest of the time we'll be using for questions.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to Twyla Robinson. If you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. I had a quick question. We were doing like a quiz for my 5th grader's math test today. He did the quiz, but it had a button over to the side that said submit or something like that, and we didn't know how to submit it, how to get the quiz information to the teacher, how to upload it.
So did it not appear like the submit button was live, or did you click on it?
We tried to, and then it gave us this little empty bar-like thing. We played with it, but we never could get it to go. And I'm looking at it actually on the thing now, and it has just a line on it for the quiz. So it doesn't look like it uploaded to the teacher. Because I was wondering if it automatically goes, or do I really have to submit it after he does it?
He would need to complete it. Hadn't he not completed it yet?
He did the quiz, and then it just took us back to the screen where it says start quiz after he finished it.
So can you tell me, are you looking at it right now by any chance?
I'm looking at it. It says rounding 5.3 vocabulary quiz. And on the side, it has submissions. It has submit assignment on there. And I sent the teacher a message as well, but it was probably after he was already gone.
So it could be a few things. They might not have enabled it yet, which would just be an oversight by the teacher. They would need to turn that on. But it's really, the teacher would need to look to see what the problem is. But because once you go through it and hit submit, there shouldn't be anything else that you need to do.
Okay, because it says, when I click submit assignment now, it says upload. Upload is highlighted, but then it's not where you can put anything in there. It has create and resources and submit and stuff like that.
So it looks like I would just wait for the teacher to respond. It might be the way they created the quiz. It's expecting some type of upload, but the quiz isn't asking for it, but it expects an upload. So there's a good chance they're probably going to have to redo that quiz once they correct that problem.
The other thing is it's not due until tomorrow. So do you have to wait for that? He was just trying to do his work early. So would he really have to wait if it's for tomorrow?
It depends on how the teacher set it up. So if it says this is due September, say this one's due September 8, it should tell you that if it's enabled, submissions are enabled. If it says enabled, then that means they're able to take it now. If it's disabled, that means they have to wait.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question is going to be Riley Dowdy. Can you unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. So I only have one child in pre-K, and I was wondering, do I need to make a parent login, or can I just use my child's login and get all the information and communication between me and the teacher, or will I miss out on any communications if I don't have a parent login?
That's an excellent question.
So as our chief,
I can answer that. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer that question. So if you have a student in our system, number one, this is for any parent. Parents are not required. It's not mandatory that you have a parent Schoology account. The benefit of a parent Schoology account, we're just thinking about those parents who may not necessarily be able to support their child on a day-to-day type of basis and sit side by side with them as they're doing their work. So it may be where a parent wants to remotely monitor what their student is doing. But in your particular case, you, as you stated, so I can just imagine that student would need increased level of support. So to answer your question, no, you do not have to create a parent Schoology account. You can utilize the student Schoology account for support. However, if you want to begin communicating directly with the teacher, then you may not have that function in Schoology. So it is an added benefit, again, to just monitor what students are doing, getting updates, connecting directly with the teacher. But if you are there supporting them on the day-to-day, it's not necessary.
Okay, thank you guys. You guys did a good job today. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a question from Leanne McCrae. If you can unmute yourself and ask your question. And Veronica Ortiz, I do see your hand up.
All right, quick question. Google, I was just messing around with it to see about how Google Docs and stuff would work. It's kind of forming it like I might have to download the, I would say, app or format for it. Do I need to download like Google Docs and Drive to their tablets if they're using a tablet?
I would say yes, you would want to do that.
Okay, so that's how it actually links through, though. It has to have the programming for it.
Yeah, you'll need that software.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, it's not going where you were showing on yours.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Veronica Ortiz, you want to go ahead and ask your question? Make sure you unmute yourself.
Yes, my question pertains to the iStation. Do we use the same password and the username as last year? Because mine is not working and I can't. It's telling me that is not the right password or the username.
So I'm not sure that they're done uploading the accounts for this year. It should be the same, but they just haven't uploaded all the student information at this point.
Okay.
Okay, and Kimberly Grant, if you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, my phone zoomed out, so I don't know if this question was answered. So what if we do if iStation, for example, do they put that in, what is it, Schoology, like assignment is due? How would we know assignment is due for iStation or iExcel or anything like that? I know you said you're not doing them right now, but we're like in the future.
So if there's an assignment due in one of those software programs, if we go to the checklist, there is a box there. As soon as it loads, it'll tell you the software that the student would need to do for that day. So for reading, they would do 30 minutes of iStation reading, 30 minutes of math in iStation, iExcel. This is where you would find out what they needed to do for that week.
And if I may add to that, so as Ms. Williams stated, we have not officially launched iStation yet. However, if Ms. Williams, if you'll scroll down further on the checklist, what you will see on Fridays are truly a synchronous type of model, which means that our students are doing a lot of self-paced learning on Fridays. So on Fridays, and this is just an example, this is not a concrete checklist for anyone. So I just want to put that out there. So what you will see on Friday is that students will be assigned activities to do in iStation, things to do in Achieve 3000 or Imagine Math, whatever the program is according to their grade level band, we will specify that on Friday. So what we have on the checklist is just access points and what our minimal requirements are for these instructional technology programs that we have moving forward. But we will be very clear about when we're officially launching and having the expectation embedded into the student checklist. Because what we want to do is make sure that our teachers are trained, that we are able to kind of get our students trained on those systems as they're doing their touch points with their teachers before we just completely release them, because we know it is new to some of our students.
Okay, thank you, Chief McKissick. We have one last question, I believe, and that was Robin. Did your question get answered? Did it get answered, or did you still need to ask it, Robin?
My question is, I don't really have a question. I need help accessing ClassLink for one of my kids. Two of them already have it and the other one does not. So I did log them in, or tried to log her in, and I could not get her in.
Robin, if you want to hang out with me towards the end of the call, I'd be more than happy to assist you and check the list and make sure that you have the right information.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm glad you guys mentioned about Friday because the kids were under the impression they had no school on Fridays.
No, not true.
Thank you.
Yes, they do have work on Fridays. I will say that in some cases, right now, they will have a lighter load. So just be very clear, until we get our clubs and our interventions and our other things set for Fridays. Right now, it is going to look light, but I promise you that will change rapidly.
Okay, one more question. Do you know if you guys will have, or if the district will have a call like this for the Genius Hour?
Yes, it may not necessarily be a call like this for district-wide, because Genius Hour and enrichment time will look different from each campus.
Okay.
We have different campuses that have different themes. So what students at one campus may be focused on a theme of linguistics or technology, where another campus may be focused on environmental science. So the Genius Hour will look different, and you will get more specific clarity from your individual campus. Because like I said, right now, that truly is different by campus and by grade level.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and we have one, well, it's more of a statement from Ambry Polk. So my child's teacher advised him to complete iStation and iExcel tomorrow. If it's not working, that means he won't be able to do any of the work all day tomorrow. Yeah, if it's not working, then he won't be able to do that work on tomorrow. So I believe it's not, Chief McKissick, it's not necessarily that it's not working, but they're still open.
The program that and I want to clarify here, the program that they can have access to, and we truly want to encourage parents and empower you guys with the iExcel. The iExcel is a program that is very specific and skill-based. So if you know that your student, just for example, is needing to practice more on their addition and subtraction, then you as a parent can log in or have the student log into iExcel and practice those skills. Well, we use iStation, Achieve 3000, and Imagine Math. Those are our universal screener programs. So that is how we progress or periodically progress monitor our students from the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. So we really rely on the benchmark data to help us determine how our students are growing. Whereas iExcel, again, is more of a skill-based practice opportunity for our students. So we definitely encourage right now, if they're able to access that system, which they should, and if not, please, Ms. Ross, correct me, but they are able to access iExcel and begin working on any skill that you know the student may have a deficit in.
Yes, Chief McKissick, you're absolutely correct in your thinking. iExcel, it meets your students where they are. It is a single sign-on, so once they are logged in correctly into ClassLink, they should be able to access iExcel. If they are unable to access iExcel, I would immediately contact my child's teacher to let them know, hey, you know, I did the ClassLink single sign-on. That's the key. You have to log in via ClassLink. Because of the way the district server is set up, if you are not going in through ClassLink, iExcel will take you to a whole different login page if you don't access it via ClassLink. And so the way that works is whatever that password is that your student uses for a ClassLink, because it's single sign-on, you should be able to just click it and you are in iExcel. Okay? And that is ready now.
Okay, we have one final question. That is going to be from Aisha S. It says, so they are not logging into Zoom or anything on Fridays at the moment, just completing current and past due assignments. And I'm going to defer to Chief McKissick on that one.
Yeah, so that truly depends on the teacher. Some teachers have identified some Friday learning extensions for the students to complete. I know for specifically at our high school, Fridays are used as their assessment days. So students will be transitioning from period to period themselves, self-directed, taking those quizzes that the teachers have outlined for them to complete on Friday. So it is truly a case by case. We realize that Friday has not necessarily been thoroughly communicated, so there is no penalty for our student. If they don't have an extensive workload for a Friday, that is, again, no penalty to them. We are wanting to ensure that we're very crystal clear about what will happen on a Friday for our teachers and our students. So again, right now, there is no penalty. I will just check the students' folders to see if they do have any Friday assignments, because again, it is on a case-by-case basis by that teacher. But if there is an assignment for Friday, they will have a Friday folder in their Schoology course.
All right, so I just wanted to take this moment for those that don't have any more questions. You are free to leave the Zoom. We wanted to just thank you all for coming. And if there's a few people that want to hang around and ask a question, we're more than welcome to hang around and answer those for you. But those of you that want to get to the football game or have some other things that you want to do, this would be a great time to break off. And we will look forward to seeing you again soon.
Hi, ladies. I just wanted to pop in and say excellent job. Keep it up, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Awesome.
Thank you. Good night. Is Robin still here? I know she wanted assistance with one of her student logins.
She's not.
Okay, no worries. I'm sure she'll probably connect with a staff member to help her.
I have a question.
Sure.
I joined in a little bit late, and the rest was I was lost.
Okay, well, there's a couple of things. We have the session that you saw today is and for most part repeat of 2 of our previous parent meetings that we've had. So what we can do, Melissa, I think you've dropped it. Can you drop it again? The link to the Anytime Anywhere Learning website. If you go to the website, you can access the 2 previously recorded videos, and then after tonight, tomorrow we will upload this recording. So anything that you missed will be inclusive on the Anytime Anywhere Learning website, as well as the contact information for the campuses. So if you have a campus-specific question, then you have their contact information as well to reach out to them.
Okay, where do I find the Anytime Anywhere app?
If you look in the chat, Ms. Gibson just dropped the link in the chat to that website. And so when you're on the website, you will go to software training and resources, and then live and recorded trainings. And then that will give you access to the PowerPoints and the previously recorded videos.
Brenda, are you familiar with how to get to the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I just found it right here where it says live and recorded training.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. You're right there.
Okay. And this is where you have the previous. Okay. If I scroll down, it shows the previous. Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Did anyone else have any questions? Okay. If not, we're going to go ahead and end the call. And we thank you so much again for participating. We are here to help you in any way we can. We thank Chief McKissick, we thank Ms. Williams, and we thank Ms. Ross. Have a beautiful evening.